AI agent is working great. But now answer this, how many times this agent got failed, or how many tokens it used, or how much did it cost, which tool failed, which request timeout, which user faced the issue, and can you query all the failure there? Or can you see the full traces of what happened during your last week of the process when the tool is deployed? If the answer is no, then your tool is still a demo. It's not a production ready tool. So, hey everyone, welcome back to this series of building AI agent from scratch. I'm Nitin Kumar. So, in last episode, we have learned about a lot of things about productionizing AI agent, and I specifically mentioned why we need the logs in our system. And in this episode, we are going to build that logs in Python. By end of this episode, our agent will have the JSON-L file or maybe SQL databases and a possible Langfuse dashboard for seeing the logs. So we are going to move away from random print statements to a real production level a logging system by all sort of level of logging that we use in a real world. So without a further ado, let's deep dive into the code. So So, uh, what we're building now is we have one console that is very good for human retrieval, one line or one step. And next level, we can move to a JSON-L file, a file that's slightly friendly. We can do some couple of steps and find out some basic analysis and do the things. But more advanced is to go towards some databases. And we are going to use some free databases like SQLite DB. So we can do a lot of queries like find out the failure rate and cost or latency, and then more advanced Langfuse. So it's give lot of visual traces like LLM cost, tokens usage, and lot of things, granular details. So let's see what we need. So in this sense, so I'll show you how is the project file. We need to sort of arrange in a way. So you just need to ignore this env. So we have this demo. In our previous session, I was showing the bad demo. Now we need a demo agent that is a real agent, and you have one agent logger. So agent logger is agent logger.py file. This file contains all the things that is needed to log the system. And that's why this file is pretty important. Now, what we are going to do is, so we'll first find out what we are going to build. So logger, what the things my logger will going to capture. So all the LLM cost, request ID, session ID, token uses, error rate, and all the status and tool uses, everything. So we do this thing and then slightly move towards the Langfuse side. So we have this code structure. Now, let's first understand uh, the JSON-L structure. And just before the JSON-L structure, let's see how my print statement was working. So if I go and so I was running this, my bad agent, and that's how I was getting the logs into my the print state. So the idea was how we can get rid of from this print statement. Now you are seeing everything is in just a line and all. Now let's understand the agent logger. The very basic file that I was mentioning is this file, agent logger. So agent logger is this file. Now first I am importing a couple of Python packages like JSON for file, UIID, and SQLite, OS, everything. So I'll explain. I'm exporting this SQLite for a DB, UUID is for generating my session ID and request ID. And this is for basic pricing. So I'm just taking GPT-4, GPT-5, and the cloud and so on, and all the prices for input and output. Now, this is the function just to calculating the price for estimating the cost. Now, this function I will use for generating my request ID and session ID. And I'm going to use my this task, this timer sort of a management. to help log all the timers. Now, very first part, if I'm going to push this thing into my DB, what will be the structure? So this is the structure in my DB. I have the ID, timestamp, request ID, session ID, my user ID, and event type. Why event type? Because I have to trace two things. One is my LLM and one my agent. So that's I'm going to trace. And this tokens and tool name, tool input, and everything will be there. Now, again, this is for initializing my DB, and this is the Langfuse setup I will explain later. And this is my the agent logger. So I am passing these things, my user ID, session ID, JSON path, DB path, and Langfuse, that's optional. When something comes in, it will initiate this agent and get couple of values. And after this, after getting these value, my logger will start. So log LLM call, this is the one function get invoked, and it will invoke, it will find out all the tokens, term latency, everything. And this is my second function, log the tool calls. One for LLM, one is for tool. So based upon this, it will, and here it is the event type is the tool call, and in this one, event type is the call, LLM call. And that's why it get all this latency, cost, and everything. It get to in this function, and these will log into my SQLite DB or the additional the structure based upon this. And this is the end of the session and everything. Now, I will not go into more into this database side, but this is the helper we will use later. But let's not go to the helper side. Now understand the more sort of a how we are going to integrate this thing into my the existing one. So you must be aware the logger we are using previously. So this was the agent logger, and this was my demo agent. So my demo agent was not using anything literally till now, and there is no print statement or there is nothing. And now I need to add these things into my the logger. How I am going to do it? Now, when I'm logging in, this is the time. Let's say I am using my demo. Now I have this is my fake LLM call, and based upon this LLM call, it will find out the input token, completion token. It just sort of just generating random. I'm not doing LLM call, but you can literally understand by this thing. I can get it from it, my LLM response. And when my agent start, so this is the agent logger start. So user ID and my Langfuse, if I'm using true, this is started my agent logger. And when I something get initiated, here I am logging my LLM call. So you'll see I am initiating my logger.log LLM, and I am passing my model name. My use is the prompt token, my complete token, latency I'm getting from timer that I initiated, status is that completed success, and my query and my response to the context. And if got failed, what I'm going to log. So my status will be timeout and everything, their error time. It will find out what is the error issue, and then I will log my error. So I am logging my failure and the success. Again, there is something is tool. So how I'm going to log my tool? Same, similar, the log tool, and something got failed, then how I'm feeling the failure of some of my tools. This is the first part, and this is my main function. How I'm starting my the logger, and I'll show you by running this very simple function how this is going to help me. So now I have this logger in place. Let's run it. The demo. I will just run the demo.agent file that I was showing. So now it's showing when I started. So it's not, it doesn't have the key, so it refused. Now let's say I got my session ID, user ID, my my JSON file name, and my DB that I passed initially, and this is the query, this is the model. Now if you see very clearly, I'm seeing for my session ID, LMGPT4, this is my input token, output this latency, the cost, and the success. I am getting this step one. This is the query, and I can get my summary of my session. Now, second run, same thing, my all the session, user ID, and everything, and same for the session three. And if you see now, I have added couple of the sort of a my helper function. By this helper function, I have the total LM call, total token, failure none, reliability is 100% because nothing is getting failed, and cost and slowest call. And this is going to my JSON-L. This is the format. It's going to my JSON-L file format. Same, very neat and clean now. So now it's giving me lot of idea, lot of very granularity. all the traces that is my system is having at a tool level or maybe LLM level. So now let's understand, okay, I post this thing to my the SQL DB. So how I am going to see the things in my SQL DB? Even I have this helper function that I was showing here. So this is my agent logger. So now this is the help, this is the query logs. This is helper function to get all these things like against the log databases. I can run simply SQL queries, very basic one. But let's see how we can do it. So let's say I have this loaded my agent db agent logs.db. This file will be automatically created if the file is not available. And now I'm doing this file database not found, and let's ignore it. I run this query, select name from my SQLite master where table name type is table. Very simple. It will just create me the tables. And if I got the table, how can I select time stamp request ID, all the variables that I stored in my DB, I can just select it and try to find out. If I want to find out my all the LLM state, so I can just count as LLM call, sum of all LLM token as LLM token, sum of round of cost and everything. Just a simple SQL query, all the breakdown. How I'm going to see all the things. So now I can query my DB. I can see these are the table, my agent log and SQLite sequence, my latest 10 logs. This is one, the timestamp it's getting, the request ID, session ID, user ID, and event type is LLM call, model, token name, is a token cost, latency, every granular detail in my system, I am able to see here now in a very structured way, and I can query. This is the query I can do very easily. Like, what is my overall LLM state? So LLM number of call is 9, token, total cost, average latency, maximum latency. And if I want to break down failure breakdown, there is a no failure. So count is 1. Tool reliability, I can find out how many times my tool is failing. It's not failing as of now because most of the tools are dummy. I can find out the cost at per session level. And I can even find out the slowest 10 calls, which my system is having. I can find out the full traces of the failed session when something is failing, where it's failing, and all the traces. So by adding these logs, I was saying in JSONL, JSONL will be more similar. We have the JSONL file. So if you go to JSONL file, we have these 5 traces. So you can see all the data is here. Same for other, we have all the data here. So you can see by JSONL is, I would not recommend it to go, but good to start when you don't have the SQLite understanding and all. But SQLite gives a lot of for SQL databases or any databases that you have available in your system. It gives a lot of help while doing the analytics work, like trying to find out the cost and everything. So here by running of this demo, you understand, okay, my logging is sort of fixed. I am able to find out all the things. So instead of the messy printing, you are seeing this log into your JSONL file and into your DB. Pretty cool, pretty well. But now let's understand, can we see these things into my the Langfuse that I mentioned? So I have this logger, agent logger that I'm using the Langfuse. So similarly, the pricing, everything is same. Now I have the different class, this initiate Langfuse, this one, and this is the build entry that I need to create. And this is the same value that will pick from the variables, and same LLM log LLM call. And I have the again, this is the build entry, and this is the I will use this function self.langfuse.start as current observation and generation.update. This is the Langfuse will use. Very simple, very easy. Same here. If self.langfuse is true, then it will start with the langfuse.start as current observation and it's span.update. So it will update everything. Now, if I run it, how I'm going to use this thing. So I will explain more about Langfuse in my upcoming episodes, like how to integrate your Langfuse and how to trace. But let us see how the things are coming. As I'm saying, it gives me a lot of visual details. So this is my Langfuse dashboard that I have integrated is just now. And you can see I have this total trace is 15, total observation 15, all the cost I'm using for GPT-5, any other model, if comparatively I can use. What is the cost by the environment, all the uses by the top 20 use cases, P90 cost, all the observation that we can have. Can I have the traces? I can see all the traces. Like my tool was LLM GPT-4. This was my out. This was my input. This was my output. This is the metadata, like status, everything that I was seeing. So I have all the metadata was a success and everything. I can just click and see and inspect every single detail, literally, and I can have the information if I need to go. We have the user level. You can create, or that's why I will help you to understand how to create these ones. But yeah, by seeing this thing, one thing is very clear. If I have better logging, I can push it into other dashboard like Grafana or any other dashboard. But these logging will help me or gives me lot of insights when something went wrong, and even just give me when I need to respond to my leaders, like, okay, my system is running up now. If they ask, okay, what is the status and how the things are going well, so these things will help me a lot while answering the answers to or explaining the things or present to my stakeholders or the leaders. So these are the very small things that give lot of insight, and that's why these are important. So if you have learned anything from this episode, hopefully you have got a lot of ideas how to do this, how this logging is helpful for me. So if you're loving this one, so please uh, like the video, as I say, and subscribe to my channel and share if someone is looking to some videos or some lecture who is willing to learn AI agent, or you want like this guy who uh, need to explore these agentic things and how to go from demo to a production level creator, and part of the basic things you need to focus. So till then, thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and bye. Keep learning.